How's that then? 7 knots.
Yeah, just on the Yankee. Pretty good.
Yeah, it really is. And welcome to the Balearics, and my goodness, it is hot.
Yeah, you just have to swim at every opportunity. Although the water temperature is pretty warm, so it's like a bath, and we're sailing quite fast as well, so we don't get a lot of opportunity for swimming at the moment.
But we have had good wind, so I hope you like the film. Coming up, Fornells Harbour, the mecca of water sports. A slow sail from Menorca to Mallorca. And having the best fun on electric bikes. Almost better than sailing. Sailing through Mahon Harbour is always a pleasure, but after a few days it is time to leave. We've explored the town and now we're heading north, not far, just a gentle sail to one of the many bays that grace this part of Menorca. The island itself is just 30 miles by 10. Most people live in or around Mahon, and much of the rest of Menorca has been left to nature. Es Grau is a small anchorage not far from a nature reserve and a lake. Perfect for a night stop and an evening walk. The pace of life here is slow, but one of the more energetic local inhabitants turns out to be the protected Hermann's tortoise. You're off, aren't you?
Once you're used to people, they want food. They think he's going to give you food. Yeah, I know, you want food, don't you? I haven't got any dandelions with me.
They're so awake.
Yeah, it's awake because it's so sunny. Look, it's going to follow us. Okay, so food is tortoise. He is. He'll eat. It's all properly done.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's great. Oh, look at that. This little lake.
Maybe this is where the river comes out?
Yeah, so it must be, yeah. That's the river comes out into a sort of a wider lakey type bit, swampy bit. Very nicely done.
Oh, it's lovely. Can you see all around, pretty much?
Yeah.
The top of the hill offers a 360 view. The lake used to be fished up until the late 70s. Now this whole region is protected and the wildlife is thriving.
So the boards around here tell you this is all down to fishing, these little lakes. It's this little weir thing here that stops it, holds the water back. And they just have the fish in it and net it across. I don't think they do it anymore. Catch the fish as they go through. Apparently you get mainly eels. I'm not sure I like eels.
I don't like eels. I mean, I've got nothing against them, I just don't like eating them. From the peace and tranquility of Es Grau, we're now moving to one of the busiest anchorages on Menorca, Fornells. There are buoys in front of the town, but you can anchor behind the island. Our passage is interesting. Waves crashing against the rocks outside the harbour. Inside, things could not be more different. This is why everyone, but everyone, comes here. Fornells is known as the playground of the island, maybe of the entire Balearics. Wake surfing is the fashion here, where you let go of the tow line on purpose. And what is this? Foil kite surfing? Or foil windsurfing? We've never seen it before. Incredible.
I think there's something special about this place. I don't know what it is.
I think it's special because you feel protected, because you can see all around. You've got the land and the hills, and yet it's big enough to do proper sailing, isn't it? I mean, you see little boats out all the time and people windsurfing, and yet you can anchor in the middle of it. It's got everything. Yeah.
No, I think it's definitely that. I think it's actually more than that. I think it's because there isn't a beach here, so it hasn't got that sort of touristy feel. It's all yachties, isn't it? It's all people with boats, big and small. And you're right, it's made me massively protected. I mean, incredible tiny little gap at the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, a bigger actual harbour area than Valletta Harbour was. You know, it's one of the most important harbours in the Med. It's an amazing place.
Yeah. No beach doesn't mean you can't swim. There are plenty of coves around and a castle ruin, which there isn't much left of. If you want history, a walk to Fornells Fortress is the place to go. It was part of a network of towers along this coastline, and it's worth the climb just for the view. The tower was built by the British in the 18th century to defend the harbour from pirates and foreigners, namely the French and the Spanish. The tower has recently been restored and is now a museum. Should we look inside?
Yeah.
Cool. The tower is built from stone and mortar, and up on the first floor it housed a garrison of men. Someone in there. So do you need to be really small or have a very long gun?
So yeah, maybe you crawl in there and do it. That is incredible. It is about, I don't know, it must be 6 metres.
Yeah,
more,
absolutely.
7 or 8 thick. The top level is where the guns are. Very windy.
Yeah, it's quite a long way.
I have a big gun on the platform there, but this bit here apparently was a forge. So I used to heat the cannonballs up so they're red hot, so if they hit a boat they'd sink it, burn it.
Good grief.
That's what it says in the guidebook. Amazing.
It was a nice evening last night, so we decided to move the boat from Fornells to a little bay round the corner. So that's where we are now. Here it is. It's a lovely morning as well. A couple of other boats came with us. Because we are off to Mallorca today, the wind is supposed to be behind us. Reasonable strength, about 10 to 15 knots, so Steve's just doing a little bit of passage planning.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's about 45 miles. Wind right behind us, all the way across. So yeah, should be a lovely little trip.
Great, so now all we have to do is find somewhere to stay. And then that's it, goodbye Menorca. It's been lovely, really lovely island.
Well, we're about halfway across now. Probably can't see with this camera because it's too wide, but you can still just about see Menorca in the distance there. And ahead of us, because it's more mountainous, you can more easily see a bit of Mallorca. You can also see a lot of creaking and flapping going on, because we haven't quite got the wind that was promised. Only got about 7 or 8 knots, but it has come round finally on the beam, not behind us, which has helped us a bit. So we're sailing along 4 or 5 knots, not too bad, but there's a bit of a swell. So yeah, we will get there. We'll get to Mallorca in about 3 hours. You can see we've still got this solar panel, our fold out one, on deck here. We are suffering a little bit with power, and things seem to be getting worse. The solar wasn't performing as it should, and nor was the alternator. A double whammy that's constantly leaving us with very low batteries. I think I might have found one of the reasons that is happening, and that's with this. I've just got my my little magnet on the end of the bow mire here, because I can set the regulator. I'm having to go through and reset it, because I just had a look, and it looks like early on in the season we had a situation with the BMS cut us off because we went very low, and I think it might have been that sort of messed this up, because I looked through and it was on a setting, one of the preset settings, which is giving a lower voltage, so I don't think it's getting a proper bulk voltage when I need it. I was putting it down to overheated, which again might be happening, overheating of the batteries or the alternator, because it's got little temperature sensors on that, so you know, to protect it, it'll stop. And I was thinking it was running down its charge because of that, or because of the belt manager. Lots of things, there's all sorts of things to sort through, so I'm working my way through those. I've got a plan for the battery box. I'm going to put some wood around it, seal it in, and have a fan pulling air through it from the bilge and then pumping that onto the alternator, so it should, you know, get a double whammy there, call the alternator with the outlet that's coming through that box. But I've also had problems with solar. If you put this up in the corner, this is what I'm getting out of the Victron. This is just from the bifacial panel, and you know, it's showing that it's going into float every day. Well, it shouldn't be going into float, I don't think, because it's not fully charged, so it should be locked there. And I've gone through all the settings with this and locked it into absorption for 9 hours. Doesn't seem to be doing that either. There's no consistency to it. The other MPPT controller that we've got is Ep95 one, and I've gone through all the settings on that as well, and that made a difference. I don't know why it was doing it. It seems to just come out of bulk too early and going back to absorption. So I've got to have a real sit down, I think, and a fiddle with these, and yeah, see if I can get the solar that we've got to give us more. You know, we've got plans to put extra solar on as well, but yeah, you want what you've got to be performing as best it can, so a little bit of fiddling to do.
While Steve's fiddling, the wind picks up, and before we know it, we are heading for the anchorage. The sheer faces of rock are what I remember from Mallorca when we were here, 3 years ago, just after the first lockdown. Really steep down, and you think there's going to be nowhere that anyone can anchor here, but just around the corner there is a bay, and I can see one other boat there. We should be fine. We stay in Cala Figuera for the night, but it is a little rolly, and anyway, we want to get to Sawyer, where we intend to spend a few days. The next morning we leave early. This is an amazing coastline. There is still plenty of swell, so I wouldn't call it an easy sail, but the wind is behind us and, well, it just pushes us along. How's that then? 7 knots.
Yeah, just on the Yankee. Pretty good.
Yeah, it really is. The anchorage is busy and there are people coming in all the time. So when someone gets too close, like this boat, you just have to ask them politely to move. The next day we leave Fair Isle and head into town. A busy dinghy dock in contrast to our last visit 3 years ago when we had the train to ourselves. Three years later, COVID is all but forgotten. The beaches are packed and the train to the town is full. Standing room only.
Well, it's a little bit of a hazy day today, so we've decided it should be cool enough to go up in the mountains there, but if we're going to be wimps and we're not going to walk it, got our funny hats on.
Yeah, electric bikes. Finally got our electric bikes. I think it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, and there they are. We just come along the front here and they seem amazing. They've got a range for about 50 kilometres. So
yeah, that's what we'll do. So a bit further than we do walking and certainly a bit further than we do cycling as well.
yeah, come on then, let's see how they go. What mode are you in? Sport. Yeah. Click plus. Give it a bit of turbo. Incredible. There we go. What do you reckon?
The best thing ever. Fantastic. Better than sailing. Well, not quite as good as sailing, but almost as good as sailing.
Let's turbo and go.
Woo!
It's just effortless. I suppose you should realise really that these bikes are going to be as good as this, but I really didn't expect it. They're incredible. It's just, you just hardly have to put any effort in. And I've only used 7% of battery so far. I've come up a bloody great mountain. So yeah, definitely going to do more of this. This is amazing.
A bit of off-road before we come to the mountain village of Fornalux, a much needed water fountain and bike rack. We are expected. Electric bikes take most of the effort out of cycling for sure, but it is still very hot.
Lovely little village. It's great, isn't it? Really quaint.
Cooling cobbles. And now we're heading for the top.
So this is about as far up the mountain as we're going to get. It's very lovely, some very noisy cicadas, but apart from that it's very peaceful. Judy's having a bit of a rest, but in fact, I mean, with these bikes it's amazing, isn't it?
It doesn't feel like you're riding a bike. Look, my favourite part, I know it's a very small part, but it's these handlebars. Look, there's a place you just rest your hand there. It doesn't feel like you're on a bike. Yeah.
That's your favourite bit?
Well, yeah.
They do all the pedalling for you, and your favourite bit is this handlebars.
And the engine, and the electric engine. That's my second favourite bit.
Yeah.
No, it's terrific because you can just go uphill. It doesn't feel like you're going uphill.
No, it really, really doesn't. I'm really surprised on how easy it makes it. Obviously, battery in there. Still got about 50% left. I think Judy's got a bit more than me. She's obviously been working harder than I have.
I've got 70%. How did you only have 50% left?
I'm using turbo mode. It's great. You can just stick it in turbo mode and go.
Well, all the time.
Yeah, but anyway, it's fine because it's downhill now. So let's get back on, down to Sola for a beer,
Lovely.
and back to the port.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Downhill is great fun on these roads, hardly any traffic, but just in case you're thinking of going too fast, you will be caught. This is the speed sign. Drones and helicopters have cameras. By the time we get to Soye town, we are exhilarated and exhausted. Time to sit in the square and have a local beer. A few days later, and we are gathering with family to say farewell to Steve's dad. Ernie had lived on his boat in Palma Bay for 35 years, and this is where everyone thought he should be laid to rest. A life in pictures, and a life devoted to the sea.
Yeah, it is a difficult thing, but it's really nice to have all the family out and to be on the boat and sort of do it in that way. My father hadn't left any instructions for what he wanted after his death. He didn't really talk about death, but you know, it seemed appropriate. He spent 35 years, you know, living on his boat in Palma. So yeah, to lay him to rest in Palma Bay was good, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think it felt appropriate.
Yes, but we are now having to sail on. We've got another appointment with eldest daughter Emily, who's going to be in Gibraltar. So we're going to be sailing quite quickly away from here, which is going to be quite hard actually. You know, having laid him to rest here, it's nice to be here, be around. But yeah, I mean, one day we'll come back.
Yeah, we can. You can always come back.
Yeah, but Mallorca's fantastic. I've spent a lot of time in Mallorca over the years. That bike ride, I mean, we had never done that before. And I mean, it's an odd thing. We went on about how brilliant that was. And I mean, as a motorbike rider, you think, well, what's the big deal? You just, you know, open the throttle and go. But it's not like that. It's because you're pedaling and it helps you pedaling. It makes you feel like Superman.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm going uphill.
Yeah, by
I can
pedaling,
do this.
you know, and it's amazing. So really, if you hadn't tried a proper e-bike, I would definitely recommend anyone do that.
Yeah,
you can cover so much distance.
Exactly, and I think that's the thing. It's better than being in a car. A bit more expensive than being in a car actually as well.
They're quite
they
expensive
don't come
to hire.
cheap.
Yeah,
but I think but the technology now is superb.
Yeah.
And there were some. We went for the road bikes, but there are some proper off-road ones as well. Though, blimey, the off-road paths we did try a couple.
In Mallorca, quite difficult.
No. I think they'd be difficult to walk. Never mind go on a bike. But anyway, all that is getting so much more accessible for people. I think.
Yeah, lots
when
of
you go on
different things.
holiday. Yeah.
And those things in Fornells. Fornells is a fantastic place, by the way. I would say
Yeah.
to everyone with a boat, get into Fornells at some point. Just a lovely vibe in that place. But yeah, I want to have a go at some of these things now. These new toys, these these
The water
foiling
sports.
things. Yeah, there's so many different things. So yeah, there's some great stuff, and Fornells is the perfect place for that.
I know. I remember
love
when a
Menorca.
jet ski was like a novelty, and
Yeah,
now
yeah.
it's like, who hasn't got one? But well, us obviously, but you know, who else hasn't got one?
Yeah. But yes, technical things as well. We will have a roundup in the next episode because I have found what it is, and we have now transformed our power. I mean, completely transformed it. Instead of bumping on the bottom about 30%, we're now 100% by lunchtime every day. So I've been talking with the patrons about how we've done that. It'll all go into the next episode. So yeah, you'll see what it was that was the problem.
But we still don't know really what caused the problem, though.
Well, I know what caused it, but I don't know why it caused it.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, we'll go through that. But yeah.
But other than that, everything is is ticking along, actually. It is incredibly hot, not as hot for us around here as it is still in some parts of the Med. I mean, it's just been a really bizarre year, I think.
Yeah, we've got August yet to come, so
yeah,
let's hope we get some better weather and get some good wind as well, because we've had good wind so far, and that's not always the case in the Med.
I know, we've been really lucky.
Yeah, we've got some ground to cover. So
yeah, we
better
have.
Get going.
And we didn't mention this, or maybe we did, I can't remember, but the rip in the sail. We've got a little bit of a rip.
Yeah, we have. I'll show that in the next episode as well. It's getting bigger and bigger, but we should hopefully be able to pick up our new sails in Gibraltar. So that will be a godsend.
So onwards and upwards. Thank you very much to our patrons, especially in the discussion about power. That's been really interesting and helpful, and insurance. All those people who helped us out with insurance as well. We're getting there with that too. And thank you to our subscribers, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.